Hi friends, this is Sunil Chandy, and we are here at Food for Thought, and thank you for joining us today. And of course, today we're going to have a special episode. We're actually interviewing someone who has been on Food for Thought before, and also we're interviewing in a very special way. We're going to move and talk a little bit. And so I'd like to reintroduce to you Ryan Zemanek. Ryan is a parishioner of ours. He's a teacher at Westerly High School. He's got a number of different wonderful hats that he wears throughout our community.
Witty man about town.
That's exactly it.
I think like that.
Yeah, I would say that. And he's very humble too.
Very humble. Surprised I got my head through the door.
But he's an amazing person who's done some really wonderful work in our community, and specifically around stained glass window. He's been doing an interesting project, and so today he's going to talk to you about what we have in terms of art in our stained glass window here at Christ Episcopal Church. Ryan.
Absolutely. Christ Church is lucky in a number of ways. Obviously, its group of parishioners is an extraordinary group of people. It's got a wonderful rector.
Oh my God, now I'm getting a big head.
And certainly the choir program and the acolytes and so many things, too many things to mention. But one of the things that I think, it hasn't gone overlooked, but hasn't been examined in enough detail is quite frankly the art that's available in this building, in this institution. It's quite extraordinary. And the book I'm working on is trying to catalog, both getting in photos and stories, the artwork that is contained in this parish. And you asked me to pop by, and so I'm going to tell you a quick story about the difficulties in shooting one of the more overlooked pieces of stained glass in the building. So we're going to go over to the
narthex. So folks, this is, we're in the space called the nave in the Episcopal Church. That's the part in between before the altar. And then we're going into this other section called the narthex, which is around the entrance of the church. And so, Brian, go ahead, take it away.
So when the church was originally built, the organ wasn't included.
Uh-huh.
And so all of this was actually open space.
Uh-huh.
And when it was open space, these two sets of stained glass windows were fully exposed.
Yes.
You could see the entire window.
Yeah.
But when they built the loft for the choir and the organ, obviously it got cut off.
Yeah.
And so trying to photograph these windows was an extraordinary technical challenge.
I can imagine.
It's something that we can do with the camera by placing it like this and shooting up, and then taking the digital program and leveling it off, which is what I've done for a couple windows that are harder to get to. But as fate or the Lord would have it, these windows were scheduled to be repaired.
Yeah.
And so they were sent up north into a lovely institute in Massachusetts that repairs the stained glass windows. And so I was lucky enough to get up there and have them lay out the windows on their light tables.
Oh wow!
So I was actually able to shoot the entire window in a straight-on shot.
I didn't know that. That's great.
So I actually have these windows now in their entirety.
Yeah.
Without having to digitally manipulate them, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So it was quite extraordinary to actually be able to get them.
Do we remember, both of these are done in the glory of God for Edwin Milner. Do we remember the characters here? Who they represent?
So this is, let's see. I forgot which one this is. This is Abraham.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure who this one is. I'd have to actually go back into my research and take a look at who that is. Yeah,
definitely. And Lido McKetty, who is our stained glass historian, we'll have him on as well.
Absolutely. I've been talking to Lido almost nonstop. He is a wealth of information about these windows.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in the parish knows quite as much about them as he.
This is probably someone who's prost in the New Testament. If this is Abraham, this is someone in the New Testament, particularly around the chalice and the bread that you have there, along with the crown.
I believe so. The story, and again, you'd have to touch base with Lido, but it does work its way around chronologically.
Okay.
So we'd have to, again, I'd have to look at my notes to
Yeah,
get into that a little bit more more detail on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the symbolism of what they're holding in all of these different stained glass windows is always relevant to who the person is. There's also some common patterns. If you can see up near Abraham in the background, there's flowers. And you'll notice that there aren't flowers in this particular piece. Yeah. But if you actually go around and look at all of the windows, these different flowers appear in multiple windows, these different leaves, and it unifies all of the pieces together.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. And you have another set that you wanted to show us?
And this other set was also the same challenge. And again, luckily enough, the set was taken out, and I was able to get these in their entirety.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And again, we've got St. Paul and St. Peter.
St. Paul and St. Peter. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's actually Old Testament works its way around into New Testament, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. So then this to the glory of God and loving memory of Thomas Mackenzie, 1867 to 1929. 1867. To 1929, and then vestryman and junior warden of this church.
There's not only the imagery of the pieces, but as you were just pointing out, the history of the parishioners of the church is all around us in pieces like this and in the plaques that are throughout the building. It really is extraordinary when you start to unpack it, what the history really is.
Yeah,
it's the history of Rhode Island, to be honest.
Yes, definitely, and so he died in 1929 at the beginning of World War II.
No, that would be the beginning of the Great Depression.
The Great Depression. I'm sorry. You're the historian, history teacher.
No,
that's right.
English teacher.
English,
That's okay.
But the Depression. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Excellent, super. And this building was 1890. 1890, I think it was.
When they
put the cornerstone in.
Down for this building?
Yeah.
I'd have to double check that, but I think you're right.
1890, 91.
And I know we were originally the building that is now the temple across the street.
Yeah. All right, so this is beautiful, and I know that this is, when stained glass windows in the past and historically have been used as a way to proclaim the gospel.
Yes.
For those who couldn't read,
right.
And who weren't engaged in the worship of worship with the liturgy by reading and participating, they would look at these stained glass windows and you'd find the gospel, the good news in it. And so it was actually working with them helped to increase your faith. How about yours?
How about mine?
Yeah.
Well, certainly looking.
How did it affect you, in other words?
No, I understand. Certainly looking at these pieces, I'm blown away by the history that's there.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by the artistry that's there and the dedication to a faith. Yeah. And the ability to translate that into something as beautiful as this. It always bowls me over whenever I think about that. But with the stained glass, you're right. Obviously, they're trying to tell stories, and way back in the Middle Ages, they were trying to tell stories to people who couldn't read. But there's also the quality of transforming light.
Yeah.
The light of God becomes this manifold thing that in human consciousness we can't possibly perceive what God is in totality. It's beyond our understanding, aside from love, which we all understand. But by taking something as simple and as pure as light and transforming it into this multicolored, prismatic expression of light, is kind of a reminder of what we're supposed to understand about God.
Yeah.
So.
And I love it. It's interesting that when you speak about light and dark. I mean, and so God, in my mind, and in the I think the biblical theological dominant thought is that God is creator of both, right. And so God speaks and acts through both, and so it's using light and darkness to distinguish and to be shown, and then creates a story and helps us to to find meaning and hope in it.
Are you talking about kind of the understanding light through the absence of light, like
Yeah,
Emily
that's
Dickinson
right. Yeah.
pieces? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, so, you know, we could recognize these figures because of the where light comes through and then where it doesn't come through.
Right.
We're able to distinguish the face. We're able to distinguish the keys to the kingdom that Peter might hold, and the Bible that Paul engages with, and the Scripture that he engages with, and the looks on their face. It's all it's faith that's being translated.
Without a doubt, and I'm glad that you brought up the faces, and again, that's something that I get into in the book. The artists capture the countenance of the character, for want of a better term, quite well. I mean, you get the stern visage of Paul, you get the understanding visage of Peter. These men are being, these figures are being expressed to us in a way that is in keeping with the gospel, is in keeping with our understanding of who these people are. And for the artist to be able to capture that in a still image is extraordinary. And what may not be understood about these is this is a type of stained glass where there's actually painting on it. It's not just some kind of, sometimes stained glass is the mosaic where it's just the glass and you put all the pieces of glass together to create a picture. These pieces actually have been painted upon to be able to capture that depth of expression in the face and the folds and the cloth and things of that nature. It really is extraordinary work. And they did a really nice job in restoring these.
It did. And Ryan, thank you for spending time with us and explaining even a little bit of what you've been doing and your work in the church. And so thank you very much. I'm grateful for your presence. My kids had you as their teacher, and they loved you, and they still speak about you.
That's nice.
And so it's and it's so good to have you as a part of this community.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. All right. And folks, thank you for being with us today. I hope that you enjoyed this little walk in our church, and we'll probably, as our time goes on with Food for Thought, we'll do more of this as we engage in the community and life in general. Thank you. God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Did you know that you can join Christ Church from anywhere in the world? If you're feeling connected to what we're doing, email us today at communicate@christchurchwesterly.org.